Hi, and welcome back to the.
Didn't even know if I was supposed to start or not. The Always Right podcast. I was so
Yes,
excited to splurt it
yeah,
out, and then you
yeah, because you're
took over.
doing. Yeah, you're doing it today. You're like leading this podcast, and I literally took over the beginning because I'm not going to talk a lot during the middle.
All right. So we're talking about Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, because we do a lot of our books through there. We don't actually do our print books through there. We do that through Lightning Source, which we can get in that in a whole other podcast.
Jamie,
And
you're not even
actually,
in the.
before I start, I do want to say, just
You're not
talking
in
to
the
Carissa.
screen.
Do what?
You were like not in the screen there for a minute.
I didn't want to be. I can see me.
I can see you now.
All right.
For a moment, you were like not. You were like not in the screen.
Okay, so is my head.
Go
Let
ahead.
me bring my head down a little bit. Boing. There we
Yeah,
go.
now you're in there.
Today, we're talking about putting either your Kindle book or your print book on kdp.amazon.com. Kindle Direct Publishing. I've been doing this since I started fiction books way back in 2008, I believe, is when we started that. And Kindle exploded. Everybody was doing it, and it's a great opportunity for you if you're not seeking out a traditional publisher and you want to self-publish.
Which was, didn't that like that's kind of when the Kindles came out, isn't it? Like around 2007, 2008, somewhere around there.
It is. Can you move your microphone a little closer?
Do you want me to eat me microphone?
As long as you talk.
I'm sorry.
That.
I need to have to get closer for me.
I think what I want to do is I want to kind of walk you through the process, but I was just talking to Carissa, and I will probably do when we're working with another author that we're getting ready to publish in the next couple of months. And I will record my screen and walk you through the process, and we'll share it on alwaysrightpodcast.com. I won't hit my microphone like that, and we'll be good to go. So, say you want to publish. Well, First of all, you do have to be to the point where your book is done. It's edited. It's in the appropriate file format. Now, with KDP, they honestly accept almost anything. It could be a Word document. It could be a PDF. In fact, I got a lot of notes here, so I'm looking. .mobi, that's actually what we submit in. That's preferred for Kindle. EPUB is a common book format.
What did you say? What did you say was what's preferred?
.mobi.
.mobi. Okay.
Now we submit that, but Kindle does convert to what's called a .kpf. That's a Kindle Create. It's that way, if you submit a doc like a Microsoft Word, HTML, PDF, RTF, TXT, plain text, they can convert it to meet their format so it lines up right. We'll probably even do some podcasts on really how to do this and create it. Carissa can do this. I use Scribe Freelance a lot to make my .mobis in that case. But you do have to have the correct formats. I do, again, suggest .mobi. Again, you can do PDF, but you're not going to have the same ability that you would to like highlight and make the screen blow up. There's some limitations to that.
I talked to an author yesterday. She was asking because she's actually published herself self-published wise. And I said, we're going to cover KDP when we're recording tomorrow. And she's like, oh, good, because I had so many challenges when she first did her book herself. And even her print, she's like, it probably needs like reduced. It probably needs this and that and whatnot. She's like, but even the way it's lined up is a little off.
Yeah, and you'll notice that. You'll get some books on KDP and you're like, wait a minute, I can't scroll page per page. I can't highlight things. I've done a couple books like that myself, and then I learned I need to use Scribe Freelance. As an author, you got to look at your strengths and weaknesses. Yes, I can learn it. Carissa's learned a lot. She does covers as well. That's just not my forte. My forte is just writing the book and then spitting it out to everyone else to do it. Now, you do have an option. You can print through them, and you can still do like worldwide distribution. So a lot of people used to think you can't, publish your Kindle print book through KDP and you're stuck on Amazon, but they now have an option for expanded distribution so it can be anywhere and everywhere. I do know a lot of smaller bookstores, they're kind of iffy about that because they look at Amazon as their competition. So it may be a little harder for you to get the book into bookstores, but there's ways around that. We'll talk about that in another podcast. So if you want to publish your own book, whether it's a digital book or a print book, by the way, you can do in PDF. Just saying, that's typical. So PDF for a print book. If you're doing a digital book, the .mobi, and you're good to go. But if you're ready to publish, you need to go to kdp.amazon.com and click to sign up. And I'm walking through my notes here because it's been a while since I've done one. But when I'm right back into the system and I'm working through it, bam. In fact, you know what? I might
Give me that
actually
website
open
again. I'm writing that down because I want to make sure that I have that there. It's what, Amazon what?
kdp.amazon.com because you do have to sign up and it will tie it in with you. Come on, all of us have an Amazon account at this point. It's going to tie it in with that. So, mine's tied in with everything that I buy in my Amazon Prime. I'm actually opening KDP and I'm going to kind of walk you through it, even though I will do a walkthrough later. So if this is your first book, no, I'm not doing one. I'm just editing another one. Let's see. I'll make it Shifters 2. So if you go on there and you click plus to add a new book, it's going to choose, a Kindle book or a print book. We're choosing Kindle, of course, and you have your Kindle ebook details page. You have to select the language, which mine, of course, is English. And my book title, you got to have a book title. Of course, we all do. Mine is Shifters. This is called Slipstream. You can actually see it. That's why I have it up here. Shifters 1, Shifters 2. And is it part of a series? And maybe this is your first book, but you plan to write a trilogy. You definitely want to name the trilogy or whatever and put it in there. So in my series, I have the Shifters duology, and this is book number 2. I don't have to worry about edition number. Now, if you had a book out for a while and you totally change it, you do a new cover, you rewrite it, you expand it, yeah, you'd want to do, edition number 2 or whatever. Author, Jamie Vendera. Contributors, sometimes you have multiple authors, or cover designer you want to push. I listed my editor, Rich Dalglish. And then, of course, we put in the description. Now, with descriptions, I do highly suggest you go to Amazon and the books that you love, that you've read their descriptions. Because if you meet somebody on the street and you're like, hey, I'm an author, and you got to grab their attention and you only got 30 or 40 seconds, how are you going to do it? Well, this book is about this boy, but no, you're like, man, there's this kid and he was a hyperkinetic, and what is that? Blah, 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 blah. And you get through and you make it like you're pulling the end. So when I write a description, I think of it like a movie trailer. Like,
I think of it like the summary and synopsis episode that we did.
exactly. Boom.
Yeah.
It's right to the point. It's pulling you in. If you haven't watched that
About
episode,
3
please go
paragraphs,
back
yeah.
and watch it.
Or listen.
So publishing rights, you do have to click. I own the copyright and I hold the necessary publishing rights to Shifters 2. It could be a public domain work. There are books that are in public domain, that are 100 years old, 80 years old, and people are regurgitating them, spitting them back out, and publishing them on their own platform. And that's totally legal. And I've seen people make a lot of money doing that, going
What
and
do you
finding I don't know if I can't name one right off the top of my head. I can't believe it. Jane Eyre, maybe. Little Women, books that are that old,
Oh, yeah.
and anybody can grab them and put them out.
Really?
Yep. We could do that. We could do Fundera Select and go back. It's just like, what was that movie they did? Something and Zombies. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. The
Oh.
reason they were able to do that is because public domain. So
All right, so that's a whole topic we should go over.
exactly. Yeah,
All right,
that's cool.
added
Now
it to
it's
the
getting me
list.
excited because I'm like, man, we could start putting our spin on all this. And
Okay, get back to KDP.
yeah, they do have a new section. It's called Primary Audience, and they use sexually explicit images or title. Does this book cover or interior have this? This wasn't a big problem years ago. Now it's just tons of sexual erotica is out there. So you do have to do that, and you have to choose the reading age. So my reading age for Shifters, I started at 16. And let me click because I'm pretty. Yeah, I can go lower, but you could go to baby if it's a children's book, and I go 16, which is minimum. Maximum is 18 plus. So you can be 54. That's old. Wait a minute, that's my age, and then you you can do it. Primary marketplace. I have mine for Amazon.com. Now, we're talking about Amazon Japan, Amazon Australia, but since I am in the United States, that's my primary marketplace. Does that mean I can't have it out in Japan? Absolutely not. We have that, and we'll get to that in a minute. Then you have to select your categories. And they just updated it to now you can have 3 categories. And I see right now, boom, categories update. Now you can add 3. I've only got 2 when we released Shifters last year. And you have to really think about what is your book about. Since Shifters kind of a YA action and adventure, dystopian type of book, I put fiction, action and adventure, juvenile fiction, dystopian, and then I'll come back through because we will do Chris and I are going to do Kindle updates and go through everything, which I suggest you do. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, now that we can do 3, I'm going to go through all of our authors.
That's just what I was going to say. We're going to go through, double check everything, and I highly suggest, especially if you get out several books, you do this. You check every year. Right now, you can do up to 7 keywords. A couple of my keywords are time travel, because this book is about time travel. YA science fiction is another one. I do highly suggest you take advantage of this. 3 categories.
So that is the topic we need to do, is categories and keywords on pushing your book.
Yes.
Because
So I love how we work together. Boom! We got new ideas.
We got a brand new episode coming soon.
Precisely. And I think that we could even go in on our phones, be in the same account, and actually be updating as we're talking. Like, ooh, you can update one of your books, I can update one of mine, we can change out keywords, and they can see just how it works. Because let's face it, Amazon is the primary bookseller. They do, if you do expanded distribution, of course, they can feed to libraries and all of that. I don't think there's anything wrong with using Amazon for print. We just started with Lightning Source, and they're worldwide distribution, and so I can get it in more places.
They have a good rep too.
Absolutely.
And their books are great quality.
So that would be page 1. Then you would go to Kindle ebook content, and we've already done that. If you're but if you're an author, this is where you got to update your manuscript. So like I got shifters-2.mobi uploaded successfully. And of course I have my cover file, and they will only accept JPEG or TIFF. So you want to make sure. And the cool thing with Kindle, if it's a digital book, I'm not saying don't do this, but you don't necessarily have to have a back cover. Unless, if you want front and back, then whoever's compressing your ebook, you want to make sure it's colorful. You want to make sure the cover's inside that digital file so that it is like a complete book. But a lot of my Kindle books, I don't do that. I do it for print, So, of course, we haven't done Shifters Slipstream, but the way Vendera Publishing is going, we're going to combine Shifters 1 and 2 and make it one print book. So really isn't no need for me to do a back cover as we speak. AI generated content. This is new because AI is so big. Of course, I didn't use any AI tools, but this is so they can really. Yeah, I don't. If you haven't been in Kindle for a minute, Carissa, yes, it's changed a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, because that wasn't on there before. But let me ask you about this: the AI generated content. Is it asking? Are you adding it? Is it?
Yeah, it's asking. I must have hit something. AI? I don't want. Hold on, I hit preview and it wasn't screwed up on me. Okay. Yes, it's asking. Let me get back to that page.
So because I've noticed that that's a new thing on Grammarly that is saying, do you want to give credit to AI?
What it says here, Amazon is collecting information about the use of artificial intelligence tools in creating contents.
So basically, it's like I said, literally predicted this in our episode, and I said, be careful when you use AI, word for word, copy paste. Eventually, it's going to take credit for it. You're not going to get full credit for something that you're using.
That's why I think AI is a wonderful tool for brainstorming, because it's like if you and I were brainstorming, it's like, ooh, what about this? So I could input, feed what my book's going to be about, and if it's going to kick out topics, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use it necessarily to write my book. I know successful authors that do, but they're really hands-on and involved with every paragraph still. When you get to this point after you've uploaded your book and your cover, it's going to say there's a Kindle ebook previewer.
Mm-hmm.
and it will do a quality check. Like it says, we found 3 possible spelling errors. And it's
No.
not. I've already checked this. It can be like I use
Well,
weird
usually the
words.
names and stuff, like when
Yep,
you spell, if you create new worlds or you create new words to go with your fiction, I have seen it do that. So, this is not the word you're wanting. I mean, yeah, it is the word I'm wanting.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then on this page, of course, you have the option to do an ISBN. So, we buy ISBNs, use them for our print books. Kindle, I don't even do that anymore. We did in the beginning, but they will generate an ISBN for you if that's what you want. Now, that's what I do for the Kindle books. But again, if I was doing a print book, I don't know personally if I would do it. I'd probably still use my ISBN identifier because it locks into 7-Eleven Press or Vindy. All
ESPN.
right. Kindle ebook pricing. This is where we really want to be. And this is where I said a minute ago when it says, where are you located? And I say Amazon.com. Well, now you have all of these options. And I put all territories, not just individual territories. I want to hit them all. So I got Amazon in India, the UK, Denmark, France, Italy, all over the world. And this
Mm-hmm.
book is set at $2.99. And that allows me to select 70%. Now, you could leave it at 35%, but who wants to do that? Yeah, I'm going to Amazon and take my money. If your book is 99 cents, yeah, you're going to be knocked down to, you're only going to make 35% of your book.
Yeah.
So, and once you've chosen all of those, you would publish your Kindle book, and it's going to take, a day or two before it would actually launch. But there's something else in here that I want to mention. Let me pull my notes back up because this is very important. KDP Select. And a lot of people do this. Now, if you would suggest to join KDP Select, what does that mean? It means
Yeah, I was
that
gonna say, what is that? What exactly
that
is that?
means that you are Kindle Direct Publishing Select and you are exclusive to Amazon. So you couldn't publish on Nook for Barnes and
Oh,
Noble.
that's right. That's
You
right.
couldn't be sending out your ebook to other book websites to sell. Amazon is the only bookseller, and of course, they can do expanded distribution.
Now, question. Um, excuse me, sir. I have a question in the front row. So if you're doing KDP Select, is that only with your ebook, or can you print
No,
books and sell?
you can do that, but then you can do. So I couldn't go and have my book printed with LSI. Is what that basically. I can still do expanded distribution and have it come out through libraries and all this. And when I'm in KDP Select, but you would not have the ability to say, hey, I want to print up 5,000 copies of my own through this other printer and sell them to this company and this company.
Okay.
So, and when you enroll it, you're stuck for 90 days. You can't just sell, you can't distribute at the digital. I'm sorry, the digital version. That's right, because when you do expanded distribution via prints, that takes care of that. It's a little different because a print book through Amazon means Amazon is your printer and distributor.
Right.
Our printer and distributor is LSI, Lightning
Right.
Source Incorporated. So that's why Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all of these companies can sell it. So you got to think in that mindset. So when you're in KDP Select, it is all about the digital rights. And a lot of people like to sell their books on their website. If you go to Vendera Publishing, there's a reason that our fiction books do not have a option to buy it right there on our website as a PDF,
Right.
because a lot of my books are in KDP Select. Why
Yes.
would I
I
do that?
remember. I
Well,
remember when we shifted that because I was like, that
yeah,
sounds
and
good.
it's because
Yeah.
you have such an opportunity now to make money, like the Kindle Lending Library, or and you're in Kindle Unlimited, which means if someone owns
Mm-hmm.
Amazon Prime and they want to borrow your book, like from a
Yep.
library, if as long as they read it, you
And they
make
don't have
money.
to read
You
the whole
make money.
thing.
No, exactly. Whatever page count they read, you're going to make a percentage of money on that. So these are people, honestly, they're probably not going to buy your book. The world has shifted. Everyone has Netflix. They're not running out to buy, a video on Amazon as much when they can go to Netflix or Amazon
Mm-hmm.
Prime and watch a lot of those for free.
Mm-hmm.
With Kindle Unlimited, you do have some specialties that you can do that you can't do if you're not exclusive to Kindle. You have free promotion. You can promote your book for free to readers for up to 5 days, and you can do this every 90 days. So if you got a series
Mm-hmm.
of books and you want to do this every month, you can just move to the next book, to the next book. And royalties, of course, you earned up to 70%, most certain territories all around the world. Because if you're not exclusive, you don't always get that 70%. So there are some pros and cons. If you want full control of your book and you want to publish a PDF version, sell it on your website, have it distributed to tons of book chains, because like LSI, they will distribute our books as an ebook to all of these other places. And I
Mhm.
tried that for a while, really wasn't making money. Why is that? Because the book was bad? No, it's because everybody's so focused on Amazon. That's where we go. It's so easy. And honestly, a KDP book, a Kindle book, is so much easier to navigate. It saves your page. You can highlight. You can share quotes from your book. You can't do that with a PDF. I buy a PDF and I scroll up, and then I'm like, oh, I'm on page 17. If I forget and I shut the app off, boom, it sets me back to the first page. With Kindle, saves all of my placing.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, I can jump right back in there and we're
Convenience
good to go.
sells.
Yep. So, and you can also do like Kindle countdown deals. So that's like, if like, hey, my book is normally $9.99, but for today it's
Mhm.
99 cents, and 2 days from now it's $2.99, and
Yeah,
then by
I did that a couple times for like Katie's book and my book and stuff. We just tested the waters with that one.
yeah, and it's a golden opportunity if you're
And you can
not
only do it
looking
so many
to.
times, so often.
Yeah, and the thing is, like a lot of people, like they're putting money into TikTok and Amazon with promotion, and marketing is very important, of course, and we'll cover that in the future too. But if you want to do organic sort of marketing and you don't want to spend a ton of money, you have a little mailing list or your friends, you're posting on Instagram or Facebook, you're like, hey, this Friday only, Shifters is 99 cents. And you blast everyone. Didn't really cost you anything except
Mm-hmm.
that you dropped the price of the book. But that's still great because it's going to up your numbers. You're going to climb the ranks. It's going to get more eyes on it. So I'm a fan of KDP Select. I'm
Yeah,
glad
and
that we're in there.
when you do stuff like that, I know we didn't discuss this in the social media part, but maybe we should have an episode on marketing like details. Um, because something you can do is if you post something, and you can't do this every single time because it becomes annoying.
Yep.
But you can
I
go
know what
on
you're
there
saying.
and sometimes you can do the at symbol with everyone, or you can do at with followers, or at with, it has different options that you can do for your page based on what your page is laid out as. And every so often you have one little thing to highlight, because when they see that, they're like, oh yeah, I wonder what else they've had, and they'll go back through. But if they keep seeing you've tagged them in it, they're gonna ignore you.
But yeah, but as soon as you said annoying, I was like, at everyone.
At
And I
everyone.
see people that, and I seen someone ask, "How do I get removed from this at everyone? I'm tired of this." Of
And
course,
they'll unfollow
I don't
you.
think you can do it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. Unfollow.
Yeah, so
Get rid of
I
that
only do
person.
it every once in a while, like, like specific posts. You don't want to do it to everybody because it does become annoying.
Absolutely. But if you're launching a new book, and you want to like
Mhm.
share a page or a picture, that's when I would do it, and then I wouldn't be like every week, oh, here's another section of my book, another section of my book, so go the organic route, email blast, make sure, of course, I know we're getting other topics, but, on your Facebook, your website, you want to have a way that you can collect these email addresses.
Mhm.
And that's something, even jumping back in your book, don't be ashamed to promote yourself.
Mhm.
Say, hey, give me a 5-star reading if you really like this book. You can have a link in your Kindle book that will take them right there so that they can leave a review. Leave your email address. Say, hey, if you want to
Mhm.
know more, or if you're interested when the next book's coming out, click this link, join my mailing list, and I'll keep you updated. So Kindle, definitely, this is the route to go. I've been doing Kindle, like I said, since '08, around when it started. And in the beginning, massive blow up. Then the problem was, honestly, I hate to say it, but everybody was doing it.
Mhm.
Now, I believe everyone has the right to be an author. Everyone has a book inside them. I know you believe that too. But with that said, make sure it's a quality book. Make sure
Mhm.
you put the energy into it. Don't think stars, like I'm going to be rich and famous. Focus, put your passion into it. Make sure it's thoroughly edited. And even with that, there's human error. We have a great editor, and I've caught typos that he didn't catch. That's just a human thing.
Oh, yeah.
I could run it through AI, but then I'd have to give AI credit, and so no. So that's the breakdown, but I will, when I do another book, I will screen share and I'll film the process so you can walk right along and see how we do it. And I think, of course, we'll do another podcast where we talk about categories and keywords. And Carissa and I will hop on our iPhones as we're filming this, and we'll each update a book so that you understand how the process works.
So I think, and we've talked about doing screen sharing episodes with Grammarly as well. And now talking about doing that where we're uploading a book and sharing it on our screen. I think we should have those exclusive to YouTube, because all the other channels, well, Spotify, you can see us if you watch it, but all the other ones are just listening. So maybe if we do a specific special episode that is visual only would be nice.
So this means that you have to follow us on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. On YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah.
Was the only
I can see listening to Spotify is like, what? So
yes,
well,
special edition Spotify, podcast. you can visualize. You can there's a video on Spotify, so you can watch us on Spotify.
What?
Yeah, Spotify and YouTube are the two places you can watch us.
Okay, so you see, I learn something new every day.
Yes.
That's not my forte. That's why I leave it to Carissa.
Yes. Okay.
So that is it in a nutshell. And I know it was pretty quick in walking you through it. If you're like ready right now to upload, I suggest turning this podcast on and pausing, and setting up, because you can listen to me, you can hop in. And if you have any questions, just email us at alwayswritepodcast@gmail.com. We'll both be more than happy to answer any questions or help you along the process of uploading your book to Kindle.
Question: illustrated books with these, when you're uploading into a Kindle, illustration wise, so as say it's a children's book, how is that like? How do
you got to make sure you use the right format. I don't want to screw up. Make sure I got the right one. So like .mobi or .kp, you have to do. You cannot use doc, EPUB, HTML, PDF, RTF, TXT. You could, but if you want quality,
distorted, yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, that publishers, like some of the pages were kind of out of alignment. That could throw you off if you, like, say it was a comic book or like a children's book, and you had all this in a square, and you didn't have the right format. It may cut it, and half of the image is on the next page.
Right.
And I've seen that happen. There's a lot of work that goes into editing and formatting a book, especially if you have pictures in there, because if you've been in the Kindle book and you're like, oh, I wish I could see that picture better. Well, you can double click on it and it'll blow up to the full screen. You're like, then you can look closer. But if it's not formatted right, that's not going to happen.
Because I know a lot of times when I've had to format things for classes and I had to apply images and stuff in certain essays or whatever, where you had to have the essay, but you had to have visual content, and then you had to have descriptions and cite where this came from. I'm wondering, when you're loading in images, is it all on the same Mobi or KPF where it's all one page, or is it content of words and an image separately where they click on the image and there might be a whole description of the image separately?
No, you can do it either way.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on whose form. You know what? This brings up a good point. I need to talk to Daniel. We really need to have him on for a podcast.
Yes.
Because he could explain how he's done this with my books. There's a lot of even with print with him, like Elizabeth Sabine's book, Strengthening Your Singing Voice, the images that I got from Liz, before she passed away, because she was in her 80s when we published this book.
Right.
They were old pictures from the 80s. They weren't high resolution. They were some black and whites. The ink would make it bleed on the page. So Daniel had to do a lot of work to set these up correctly. So this is a situation where we definitely want to teach you about this if you want to learn it on your own, but I'd rather have an expert on it can say, oh, when I designed Chris or Jamie's book, here's what I did to make sure those images were locked into place and it was worked on Kindle and we didn't have any issues.
Right. So would Elizabeth Sabine, would hers go under public domain?
No, because she wrote her book in the 80s. So let me see, just so we get this right.
Because
I want to use Google.
I know she loved her cover. I think it'd be cool to make hers a really pretty hardback that looks like a journal, with like almost inlaid stuff, and re-put hers out there. Like,
I already talked to Anne McGee about this, because Anne's she's actually the private co-author. and Anne's written books with me, Sing Out Loud.
I
We
love
did
Anne.
that book for Liz because she loved yellow, she loved flowers, and this
Right.
is what she wanted. So I wanted to pay homage to her, but exactly. This needs to
Something
be
like
updated.
just yeah, because I mean something that like stands out on the shelf, like you read this woman's life, like yeah, I can envision this cover more like almost three-dimensional inlaid fleur-de-lis type situations going on with those flowers popping.
Yep.
But at the same time not flat.
Yeah, well, even that I dig. Like I would redo that cover for that, but even a new cover in hardback, more about singing, more about her legacy. Because with that cover, she was published through Hal Leonard, and
Hmm.
they sold a lot, but they let the rights go. We got them back, and we published this and made it what she wanted. We updated her book, but that cover had a microphone on it. It was a typical Hal Leonard cover. It's just very plain, but right to the point. Liz's cover is more about her legacy, but really for that book, it does need something more modern, pushing. Aha, yes, and I'm happy with that cover. It
Oh
made
yeah, it's
her
not bad. I just feel
extremely
like
happy.
as I feel like as amazing as she was, because she was amazing. Like she has pictures in here of with some amazing
Yeah,
rock
Striper,
stars and
38
stuff. Like
Special, Keel. I think she's worked with
yeah, she's
oh
with Brian Howe from Bad Company.
yes, Brian.
Yeah,
Phenomenal. Even I saw him before he passed away.
yeah,
One of my students, Steve Algeri, sang for Journey, and he was opening for him. And wow,
yeah. I
pipes.
know I've seen when I was going through this book. I know I saw more, but like even updating some of the images and making this like um I don't know. I feel like we could redo this one to make it even more poppy for her, like her legacy.
Exactly. And
I
for
mean,
her kids.
I know this is not about the topic, but I mean, even using the musical, the five lines of the staff
Yep.
for the stems of the flower look for it.
Yep, there's a lot we can do.
Yeah.
Speaking of a public domain, 1928 or before.
Okay. 1928 or earlier.
Yeah, so if you wanted to do, Mary Shelley or something, and Frankenstein and Disco, I mean, if
Ah,
you wanted to take the writing and redo it, you know, like Pride
okay.
and Prejudice and
Well,
Zombies,
we're gonna talk about that. That is gonna be probably something we record in the near future. We're gonna do that topic, so that way maybe that sparks someone like I got a story, but how can I intertwine my story into Frankenstein?
yeah, I would love to do that just as a exercise to help people who watch this podcast. Like,
Hmm.
Chris and Jamie actually did this.
Yeah, that would be
Bam.
yeah. After you finish Age of the Sigil.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. You just shamed me. I'm getting right on it
Calling you out,
in May.
reminding you. All right, this has been a pretty good information episode. So it's always nice to have one of those in there. It's like, oh, I didn't know that, and then help authors understand like maybe their options on KDP.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, this podcast will walk you through it. It was pretty quick, but again, we'll do another feature one. We'll do an exclusive one, like you said,
Yeah,
for YouTube, where we just walk you right through and screen share.
yeah, yeah. We'll do that because we're going to figure out how to do that also with Grammarly, which will probably be we'll do an episode specifically on Grammarly, but we'll like stop recording and then we'll do a screen share and walk you through it. And that extra episode will be specifically to showing you how we share the screen and we take the content and break it down. So, all right.
Great.
Oh, so you did great today sharing information. But if you have,
And I'm tired.
oh, I've got a full day of shopping with my daughters. So
Wait a minute.
they're on
I
spring
thought
break.
you had a morning tattoo.
No, that was what is
Oh,
today?
that was Tuesday. See?
No, I like listen.
That's
Okay,
right.
I had Saturday, I had 2 hair clients, and then I had 4 tattoos after that. And then Tuesday night I had a tattoo. And then Friday I have 2 tattoos. Saturday I have 4 tattoos. So I'm staying pretty
Man,
busy.
you sound like
And then
me.
Monday I have a tattoo.
I'm kind of like today. I think I only got 5 students. And I think I typically don't teach on Fridays, but I'll do like this. There's a lot of students who've been with me for years. I'm like, look, you don't need lessons every week. Come see me every month for a checkup. So
Right.
I got 8 or 9 tomorrow, and then of course I got Columbus teaching. I teach at a studio in Columbus.
Yeah.
Saturday, so tattoos and students.
Ah. Well, and so today's my only day off because it's spring break for our girls. They get a whole week plus a day. And I am super busy this week because next week I'm leaving for Atlanta. I'll be in Atlanta like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I have to get as much as I possibly can get done this week. So I'm just like cramming everything in.
So Sky still down, or is she back in?
No, she's in Ohio right now. She told me yesterday if she could just save some money, she would just literally move here, even though she's not a huge fan of Florida. I'm like, well, just save your money for the next 2 years. And then when we move from Florida, you can just come with us there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When we decide to move to like Germany or something,
Shut up.
I'll be recording at like different hours. I'll be like,
Like, Jamie, can you start at 7 in the morning this time? Yeah, as soon as I'm like, okay, Diane, let's do it. Let's sell this house. Let's move down around Carissa.
I'll
And
be
we'll
gone.
get settled and you're like,
I'm leaving.
yeah. I'm like, I hate you.
Oh, okay. All right. This has been a great episode. And if you have any questions about KDP, KDP Select, or anything that has to do with loading your ebooks, feel free to reach out, like we mentioned earlier, at alwayswritepodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
But then we do have alwayswritepodcast.com. If you'd like to go there, go to our landing page, has all of the icons that you can reach out and follow us. You can comment on our episodes. You can share our episodes, which we love, and you can like them. Like them so that way not only are you watching or listening, you can actually show that we are, well liked in the community.
And let us know when you publish that Kindle book.
Yes, let us know how it's going. Let us know how it's going for sure. All right. So, without further ado, I am author Carissa DeLay, and this is my co-host,
Author Jamie Vendera.
and we really appreciate you listening. And as always, we ask you to always write. Until next time.
Peace.